Here's my show, which will be tomorrow night, the reception, 4 to 6 p.m. Thought I would do a video of the show for folks that won't be able to make it to the show. This page is called Cat's Cradle. It was something my sister and I used to do. You can see us at the piano. And this is one of my sketchbooks. And this looks like June 22 working journal, Ukraine war, COVID. And during the show, they'll be turning pages, showing all the other layouts, which will be really cool. This is my bio. Here is my artist statement. Both of these will be on my website. And this display case is showing a book that I illustrated with a PlaceMaker, who's an artist. This was at the University of Machias, and you can see some of the final drawings that went in the show and some of the studies that I worked on, kind of working out some of my thoughts from each of the letters that I illustrated. Many of them letters is several letters written by Stephen A. Smith, political satire for Washington County. And you can see way off top, right is Moose and Teddy Roosevelt, and then the other one is Uno Beer. Let's swing over here. I don't know how well you can see it, but they will be I'll post them on my website. So swinging over here is one of my handmade papers. Go up a little closer. You can see some really beautiful colors. This is overbeaten abaca with pulp painting. And I just love the colors. This is probably one of my favorite pieces from last summer. I'll pull back, they're together. This is titled Joan Mitchell's Flowers. She was an abstract painter, if you don't know who she is, and I just love how she painted her flowers and sunflowers. And then I'll just show the ticket. Perfect. This one over here. This one, and together these are called the Universe. Again, overbeaten abaca. And stencils. And I'll just beautiful colors. Focused a lot on the greens and reds. And I use stencils. Just wanted to show the really cool patterns that I created. That's again the color pulp painting. Overbeaten abaca. Again, I'll just show you. Is that not gorgeous? Again, I did this last summer. Pull back. You can see these are two pieces are together. Down below, this is one of my sketchbooks. This is a layout page where I am working with some cutout magazines. That's abaca with wire. A poem that I had printed off. I think my friend Molly had sent this to me. And then we're going to come over here. This is untitled. That would be this one here. And I was experimenting with a technique with, this is overbeaten cotton. And I was trying to dry to have it air dry on different materials and then peel it off and then glue it onto the paper. And then there's some decorative papers, a little bit of weaving, and this is a little bit of dyed Kozo. And this one is the paper weave. Here's the title. I took 2 pieces of my handmade paper, again I made last summer, and you can see that I cut it. One sheet was like a cloud pattern. This is cotton. This was cotton abaca. And then and I used that really dark green. And you can backlight this, which is on my website. Really pretty. It looks completely different. Show you. This is another sketchbook, and in this one you can see where I was experimenting with the idea for this kind of pattern. Take it back, and you can kind of see the process that I was working on. And then my thoughts, this was in 23. And then you can look and see. It's really cool how it's kind of like a shelf. All right, this one. This is entitled Artist and Mother Sculpt Dragon on Silver Prints. When I was much younger, and in my teens, my family fished in Eastport, Maine area. We did mackerel fishing, scallop dragon. And that's me on the left and my mom's on the right. This was probably taken in 88. And you can see this is a double cooched abaca with a netting-like material. And then I did rope and these little red fabric. And then you can kind of like waves. This is a photo transfer on handmade paper. This is a paper weave that I recently completed, working on a series of transparent layers. We recently had a paper strike in my town, and so I took some vellum and printed some. This is a photo that I printed just up the street from where I live. And I did vellum and copy paper. Self-portrait is in the background. Along the edge, handmade paper. This is handmade paper. Kind of like the smooth stacks. Pull back. You can kind of see the whole thing. Oh, I forgot. And then the mill workers. This is also back, when you backlight this, it really gives it a different effect. You can see how I kind of changed the pattern of the weave. Sketchbook. Looks like Sketchbook 22 and 23, climate change. It's a lot more. This page is Earth. And this was a paper weave that I was working on with my handmade paper, abaca, and color pulp. Kind of sketching out an idea about a book, what a book would look like, and just some of the issues. People throwing things, trash, and then this is a new road being built in Harrington, Maine, connecting to the 95. But each of these pages has ideas that I'm doing, notes. I put some of my handmade paper in there, ideas. Not all of these are going to be shown during the show, but I wanted to that was when I went to the workshop, New York City. And that's my younger sister Denise, and those were stencils that I was working on in New York workshop. This is a series I'm working on currently, Studies in Transparent Layers. See the different patterns of the weave. This is vellum, and all these are my hand papers. I'm working with vellum right now because of how transparent it is up against the light. Cutting different shapes, different papers. And I left the marks on this one because I thought the vertical lines were really cool. It also kind of shows my process. Here's another one. Vellum, handmade papers, copies from my sketchbook, then I cut it up. This is a print, this is a test print, Fox at the Moosehorn, linoleum block printing. This is going to be 2-page for the book, and just going to show some of the details. And this, again, this was a test print. What I liked about the color, kind of a limited palette, but kind of showing the fox. And you can see it's going to be a tall book when it's finished. If you go over here to this case, this is another page for Barn Meadow. Again, this is on my website. The series I'm working on. That's a flex plate. And these are 2 sketchbooks. These pages are showing like the process and kind of what I was thinking about with color and carving it out. The size of the book. And then I'm going to go to this one. This linoleum print will be also in the book, Barn Meadow. This was a test print, and I used one of my handmade papers. I made this probably back in, the paper itself, probably 2020. This is Birds and Flowers, pages 6 and 7. I really love this print. I really thought that this really came out great. A lot of work. So this was a test print on one-of-a-kind handmade paper. We go over here on this side. This is handmade paper again. This was in 2022 when the Ukraine war started. I made the paper. And this is Mother's Cries in War. This is also linoleum block printing. There might be an edition of 5, but each one is unique because of the paper, the handmade paper. Each one of those sheets are one of a kind. But the idea is kind of there. Like, I use colors like oranges and yellows. So I'm going to step back and you can kind of see this corner. We're going to go over here. And these are some published book arts that I did. That's Owls and Snow. That was a project I worked with my husband Kevin Scarlett and poet Molly McDonald. This is an illustration for The Black Hat Man. Author was Kevin Scarlett. And this was a book arts project with a small poem I did called The Wind Whispers Accordion. And it's a mix of flex linoleum, printing, and handmade paper. There's also a watermark throughout that piece. Owls and Snow. Wind Whispers. And The Black Hat Man. Going over here. The handmade papers on the walls, I call this Night Sky. Overbeaten Abaca. Beautiful. And then this one's a little bit different, but similar. Made with the same color pole paint. Color pole painting. These are the colors I used that summer. Dropping down. I went to Pinland in the spring of 23 and learned how to make Korean style haji paper. And this has bark, Kozo bark, mulberry tree bark. This is longwood dyed that we experimented with. And here's another piece that I worked on. And this summer, I'm going to be making some more of this paper. And we're using light tablet so that you can see how beautiful the fibers are. Really just gorgeous. Over here, this is called Island. Again, this is me working with poet Molly McDonald, very talented poet. This is her poem. This is a broadside, printed on a Vandercook. And this is my paper. I used a dark blue color, and then you can see I made a circles with, I believe I use a very, very light blue pulp. And the cases are all of my sketchbooks. Well, not all of them, just the ones in the show. That's a study from, I worked on AP print for Mother's Cries in War. Some of the first sketch ideas. It's on this one, number 7. Up here, working on this page, snow, wind, some ideas maybe for a print or a painting. This was one of the beginning ideas for Barn Meadow, the book. Some photos that I took. I think Kevin Cut took that one. And what I thought maybe the book would look like, accordion. I'm just going to show, these are, I believe, while the show was up, each page, there'd be pages turned so you can see all the different pages. That was working on Island. I went to Nashville and we saw Flight 93 Memorial. Some more ideas. I live in a paper mill town. And those are all the dates of the sketchbook, and those are just some major topics in the sketchbooks, but there's a wide range of, ideas, photos. It all depends on what was going on and what I was doing in the studio. So we go over here. This is me working on Korean style screens or window screens. The sketchbooks are a really big part of my work. I start out with the ideas start here in the sketchbooks. And then from there, I pull out some of the ideas. Sorry about the lights. This was actually Pinland, where I was learning to make paper thread, string. That is goldfish plant from my home. And then I was working on a watermark. And then I was thinking about colors and what would that look like. Korean, this was the war, Ukraine war, me working out some ideas, pulling off from a famous artist, German artist. Some of this is my papers. That was a front page, I believe, of the New Yorker. This page is my friend Julia. We Zoom every Tuesday. She's an artist. And this was some of the works I did while I was Zooming with her. That's a pine tree from Barn Meadow. So, again, beginnings start here with the sketchbooks. And then I work on technique, paper making, print making. But it all starts here with the sketchbooks. I wanted to post a video showing my show. This is going to be receptions tomorrow. It will be up all summer here at the University of Maine Machias. But I wanted to kind of give people a chance to be able to get to see the works. Some of my family who are elderly will be able to watch this. Thank you for watching. You can go to my website or Instagram. If you'd like to see more of this, please comment or like or subscribe. Thank you.